The storm rolled in without warning. One moment the sky above the suburb was a flat, pale grey, and the next it had become a roiling bruise, thick with clouds that looked almost chunky, like something trying to push its way through from the wrong side. Mia watched it from her bedroom window, fingers resting on the cold glass. She should have been editing her next video, the true crime one about the missing family, but the storm had dragged a strange heaviness through the house. Her phone on the desk buzzed with notifications from her subscribers, but she didn't move. It wasn't just the storm. The house had been wrong all week. It started with the mirror. 3 days ago, she'd been filming a late-night horror narration, the kind her channel loved, creepy true stories, distorted audio, unsettling background music. Her ring light glared against the vanity mirror behind her, but in the recording, the reflection was off. In the footage, she was speaking to the camera, backlit by the ring. Behind her, just over her shoulder in the mirror, something stood in the darkened corner of the room. Something tall, almost as tall as the ceiling, with joints bent at the wrong angles, like a spider trying to wear a human shape. Frame by frame, it inched closer to her reflection. But in the original moment, she had felt nothing. Heard nothing. When she went back to the raw file, heart pounding, she watched the whole thing again. The creature in the mirror leaned forward until its head was almost beside her own reflected face. Its skin, if it even had skin, was too smooth, stretched tight across something that didn't understand human anatomy. Where eyes should be were only dark pits that glitched slightly with each frame. Its mouth, however, was perfect, wide, grinning, too many teeth. As she watched, the reflection's lips, her lips, stopped moving. The audio of her narration continued, but her mirrored mouth hung open in silent horror while the thing beside her began to smile. Then the file corrupted. Static. Green and purple fragments. She told herself it was an editing error. A rendering bug. A prank she pulled on herself by working too late. She deleted the file. The next day, the hallway lights flickered whenever she walked through. Shadows dragged a second too long behind her feet. Her bedroom door, which always creaked, opened one night in total silence, so silent it woke her. She found it half open, the hallway black. No one there. Tonight, as the storm muttered over the rooftops, the house was so quiet that she could hear the refrigerator cycling in the kitchen downstairs. The air held that cold, pressurized feeling right before a downpour, like the world was inhaling and not sure if it wanted to exhale again. Her recording setup waited on the desk, MIC, laptop, notes. A small red sticky note sat on her script like a wound. You should post the mirror video, it read in her own handwriting. She hadn't written that. She hadn't even kept the video. Her throat went dry. She picked up the sticky note by one edge and turned it over. Blank on the back. No other marks. She searched her memory. Had she written that as a joke and forgotten? Sleep deprivation had been hitting hard. Commenters complained when she didn't upload on schedule. The algorithm punished silence. Mia crumpled the note and tossed it in the trash. Fine. She'd record something else, something simple. A found footage story, maybe. People liked feeling like the video itself was haunted. The line between real and fake was where the views lived. As she sat, thunder rumbled low, like furniture dragging across the sky. She opened her recording software. The webcam preview clicked on, showing her face, headphones on, dark hair in a loose bun, circles under her eyes. Her ring light haloed her in faint white. Behind her, the room looked normal. Bed made, closet door shut, vanity mirror reflecting the window. No tall thing. No wrong shadows. Hey, everyone, she began, forcing brightness into her voice. It's Mia. Tonight's story is a little bit different. Her voice froze in her throat. In the webcam preview, her own reflection didn't move. Her real mouth was talking, forming the easy intro she'd said 100 times before, but the version of her on the screen sat there, staring straight into the camera with a vacant, heavy-lidded gaze, like a recording paused on a single frame. Her heart slammed up into her throat. She turned in her chair, looking around the room. Her body moved just fine. She raised a hand to her face. Took a breath. Turned back to the screen. The Mia in the preview still hadn't moved. Her own words kept playing in her headphones, the audio smooth, but it was like the visual had been replaced with a still image. Okay, no, she muttered, frowning. She lifted a hand in front of her face and waved it. Her real-world hand rose. The hand in the preview did not. Then, with a slight jerk, like a skipped frame, the Mia in the webcam slowly tilted her head, as if her neck were made of rusted metal instead of bone. The motion ground to a stop at an unnatural angle. She was still staring into the camera. But the eyes were subtly different. The whites were darker, slightly grey. The pupils larger. The irises too flat, like coloured contact lenses painted over glass. Mia yanked her headphones off so fast one ear cup snapped sideways. The audio kept playing. Her own voice flowed out of the computer speakers now, continuing a script she had never recorded. Sometimes, Notame said, with her familiar cadence, when you stare into a screen long enough, you stop being the one doing the watching. Mia stared in numb confusion, her heart pounding so hard she could feel it in her fingertips. On screen, her reflection smiled. It was not a comforting expression. Sometimes, Notame continued, something on the other side decides it likes the way your face fits. Lightning flashed behind the house, lighting the room in harsh white for a half-second. The guttering shadows twisted as if recoiling. Mia slammed the laptop closed. The voice cut off mid-sentence. For several seconds, the only sound was the wind and the faint rattling of tree branches against her window. Her breathing soared in and out, too fast. She told herself, again, that it was a glitch. Maybe she'd clicked an old video by accident. Maybe she'd opened a test recording without realizing it. Maybe. Her phone buzzed. She jumped. The screen lit up with a notification from her own channel. New video posted. Mirror footage they didn't want you to see. Her skin crawled with an immediate, animal terror. She hadn't uploaded anything. She hadn't even finished editing anything in days. Her thumb shook as she tapped the notification. The video opened. The thumbnail was a still from her bedroom, tonight. The exact shot from just minutes ago, her at the desk, ring light glowing behind her. Only in the thumbnail, her reflected face was blurred like it had been dragged sideways across the frame. The runtime, 12:06. 12 minutes of footage. She hadn't recorded anything that long. For a second, she considered closing the app, throwing the phone across the room, pretending none of this existed. Then the view counter ticked. 1 view. 2 views. 5. 21. Comment bubble popped up. First. Another, this feels wrong. Another, is she live? Her eyes look weird. Her hands moved without her permission, numb and shaking. She hit play. The video opened mid-sentence. When you stare into a screen long enough, you stop being the one doing the watching. It was the voice from a minute ago, the one in her headphones. Her voice, speaking calmly into the mic. She watched in horror as her on-screen self leaned closer to the camera, pupils ballooning until the irises were swallowed completely. The live comment scrolled up the screen, overlapping the video. Yo, WTF is this edit? Her mouth isn't synced, help, I paused, and her eyes. They're looking at me, not the camera, nope. On screen Mia smiled. But this time, her lips kept moving after the audio stopped. They formed words with no sound. Mia leaned closer to her phone, squinting. The on-screen version of her whispered, slowly, exaggerating each syllable so there was no mistake, I can see you. The room behind screen MA shifted. The shadows in her reflected bedroom thickened into a single shape, like ink poured into water. Something stretched out of it. Long fingers. A shape too thin to be human, unfolding from the corner behind her chair. The camera did not shake. There were no jump cuts. No horror YouTube-style text overlays. It was all quiet, steady, like a live stream. The comments flew faster. This isn't real, right? Someone tell me this is edited, please check the mirror. Look in the mirror. On screen, the thing in the background glided closer. It was taller than the closet door now, its limbs unfurling in ways that made Mia's joints ache just watching. Its head lolled to one side, examining her like she was something in a jar. She realized, dimly, that her own bedroom, the real one, had grown darker. The storm outside had swallowed the last of the daylight. Without the ring light or desk lamp on, her room was only lit by the dim, cold glow of her phone. She did not want to turn around. In the video, the creature bent down. Its face drifted into frame beside screen MIA's. There were no features. Where the eyes and nose and mouth should be, there was only smooth, pale skin, stretched too tight. It tilted closer to the camera as if trying to push through. Then, slowly, the shape of a mouth pressed out from the smoothness, bulging from beneath like something trying to hatch. The skin split in a long, vertical line, peeling back with a wet, soundless tear. Teeth grew in real time. Long. Needle-thin. Dripping black. On her phone, the comments changed. Behind you, turn around, Emma. Guys, I paused it, it's in MY room too. Mia's lungs refused to work right. Each breath came in short, sharp bursts. She realized she was crying only when something wet hit her hand. Very slowly, slower than she had ever moved in her life, she lowered the phone and turned her head just enough to see her vanity mirror across the room. Her reflection sat at the desk. But Mia was standing. The reflected version of her stared straight ahead, face slack, lips parted slightly. Behind Mirror MIA, the bedroom door was open. In reality, it was closed. In the reflected doorway, the dark was too thick, pinned to the frame like a curtain made of tar. Something moved within it. Not forward. Not backward. Out. The surface of the mirror trembled, the way a still pond does when someone drops a stone into it far away. Small ripples distorted her reflected shoulders, her reflected face. The phone in her hand vibrated again. She glanced at it. The video now showed the same angle as her real-world view, the back of her own head, watching the mirror. It was streaming her as she stood here, now. She hadn't pressed go live. Mia's reflection lifted a hand. She did not. The hand in the mirror rose with slow, jerky grace, fingers splayed too wide, each joint bending a little too far. It pressed its palm flat against the inside of the glass. The skin there was wrong, too pale, blurred at the edges, as if the hand were being dragged from another dimension 1 pixel at a time. Mia stepped back, her calf hitting the edge of the bed. Her knees threatened to buckle. In the mirror, her reflection did not step back. Instead, it leaned forward, pressing its face close to the inner surface. The features were hers. Her cheekbones. Her nose. Her mouth. But the eyes were not. They were bottomless pits, stretching back and back into a darkness that felt like a physical weight on her chest. Her phone screen flickered. The live chat was a blur now. Nope, it's looking at us. Stop watching close it, close it. I can see my own room, what the... Her reflection's lips moved. No sound came from the glass. A whisper, thin and papery, crawled up out of her phone speaker instead, separate from the video. Loud enough to hear, soft enough that she had to lean in. You invited us, it said in her own voice. Every time you hit record. Every time you asked us to watch. Her fingers spasmed around the phone. She wanted to drop it. Smash it. Run. But her muscles felt slow and syrupy, as if someone else were trying to move them from far away. In the mirror, a second shape slid into view behind her reflection. Tall. Jointed all wrong. It unfurled like a question mark, its smooth, featureless head bending down until it rested directly above Mirror MIA's. Their outlines merged. Her reflection's jaw loosened, unhinging further than it should, until her mouth gaped open in a perfect, black O. Something pressed against the back of that darkness from inside, making the skin stretch. The lights flickered. Once. Twice. Went out. For a moment, there was nothing but storm sound and the faint glow of her phone. The last thing Mia saw before the screen went black, before the connection finally cut, was the live viewer count in the corner of the video, ticking upward faster and faster. 9,820 watching now. 9,821. 9,822. And just above it, her own face on the stream, eyes bottomless, smile too wide, leaning close to the camera as she whispered, "Don't forget to like and share."